The biggest problem that I think we have is this kind of stereotyping of the races. First and foremost, it's not up until very modern times that the white general person was able to have access to the benefits that they have now. For a very long time, the majority of the white population in Europe were peasants and servants. So there's no, but white people are not superior or have superior experiences. Black people, Asian people, Middle Eastern people, Arabs, whatever, whoever that is not of the white race usually tends to project that feeling of they have a privilege or they have a superiority. Because before the white race was the one that was historically ruling the world, it was the Arabs, you see? So it's all down to the historical perception that we have of the whites. But when we really look at the nitty-gritty of it, the white people, they're not all privileged and you know, they haven't lived a better life. Poverty exists in the white world. And not only that, also, when it comes to the black race and to blackness, I can't lie to you. My blackness does not come from somebody that believes that they were conquered by the white man. Actually, my family, my black family, does not identify with slavery, does not identify with being exploited or oppressed by the white man. Actually, I come from a black side of wealth.
Angola not a French colony or Portuguese colony?
Yes, but
so how did they? So what that kind of colonization was it like? Was it what's the word? Was it with consent or something?
So, okay, so this is not the thing with colonization. Even when you go and you speak to the people, to Angolan people, and to even when I speak to my aunties and my uncles and stuff like that, they explain that actually when Angola was colonized, it wasn't a whole thing of like, oh, the white man is here and slavery and this and that. There were people that were treated as servants, but then there were also those who were actually middle and upper class in society. It was just normal, except that you had another country that's come to put in the infrastructure that was meant to make the country grow. And in fact, Angola was doing much better, was much wealthier when the colonizers were there than it is now. And it is the truth. And you know what's even crazier? The Portuguese government dictated that any wealth that is generated within the colonies is to stay within the colonies. They were not trying to take it out. And if you see, England has benefited a lot more from their colonies than Portugal has. That's why the colonies are now the ones that are colonizing Portugal, because actually it wasn't a whole matter of like we're the master and you're the slave. That's the misconception that people have. That's why
So there was no Portuguese slavery.
There was Portuguese slavery, the same way that there was Arab slavery.
And was it in Portugal? Was it in Angola?
No, it was. They were taken to Brazil.
So, okay, so now were slaves that were taken from Angola to Brazil? Were they picked based on their height, strength, or color?
I believe they would have been picked on their social status. Because there are still families, because this is the thing about slavery. People think that slavery was like, oh, the whites have come to Africa, they see a motherfucking black person, they go pick him and send him to Africa, to America. It is not like that. A lot of the time, these were deals, because even within African slavery already existed. Even you can see now, when you go back home, there are people there that are basically working for free. Servitude is actually something that is normal.
But we're not talking about servitude, though, are we? We're talking about slavery.
Yes.
We're talking about chattel slavery,
But
a specific type of servitude.
But slavery already existed.
To the person who was a part of the deal, who was at home and then got picked up and taken away, it is that way to them.
Yes,
and I'm not disputing your
but
point.
It wasn't just
for a
the
lot
white
of people.
person. It was the white and the black.